Hello and welcome to another video, and I thought I had too much time on my hands. This is a chap called PandaSub2000. I mentioned him once on a much earlier Amico video. The reason being will come clear as we get into this. I know Darius has covered this video. I saw a little bit of that, but I wanted to much of it as possible to be fresh to me. I just sort of jumped to one spot in this video just by random, and then I thought it meant one thing, but it might not mean that thing. But we'll come to that. But you know, this guy's a strange one. I mean, it's fine if you want to be excited about something, but what I basically said in the earlier video, whichever one it was, I've made so many of them. He puts so much, puts more time into editing and the graphics and whatnot that you'll see more than anyone else I've seen on YouTube. It's almost professional the way the amount of detail he puts into things. But he's jumped on the Amico train just at the point where it was all falling apart, and at the point where I'd given up. And it was just like, you've really backed the wrong horse here, mate. Go concentrate. Go make a video concentrating on something important, something that's actually got legs. Because this is a lame horse that's about to be shot in the paddock. I mean, look at his that's his timeline on Premiere Pro, I think, and he's just got so much weird, wacky shit on there. Which look at my timeline for this video that I'm making. You'll literally have two things, one for video and one for audio. It's that simple. And as long as I don't say anything completely untoward, it'll just be a straight run through without any sort of edits whatsoever. Let's get into it. Let's see what he's going to say. Sorry, about to say howdy. By the way, this is about him playing the Amico at the Boston event, which was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It feels like so long ago. It's like, this is the trouble. By the time he actually gets round to editing a video with all his fancy whatnot in it, as you'll see, the topic is irrelevant. It's like we've moved on to another location and another and another and another, and yet he's still talking about one from weeks ago. That's the trouble. Unless you can pump these out overnight, and it's not really something anyone can pump out overnight unless they've got some sort of backing team to back them up, then I wouldn't bother with this sort of thing. I just want to do like a bit of an off-the-cuff video about it. So I'm just making it in the space of half an hour or so. I'm not going to spend an inordinate amount of time editing all kinds of wacky shit to go on it, because no one's going to care. They just want to hear my thoughts and opinions on the matter, which is fine. It's great. I'm very glad that people do. But I'm not going to put loads of strange and wacky shit all over the top of it. It's just not necessary. Not necessary whatsoever. But by the way, and I think he does mention this, it's part of his Howdy Amico video, and this is a review portion of it, so I think he might mention it coming up, just based on the 2 seconds at the start I heard as well. Again, why make such a long video when you're really talking about something which is, it's dead on arrival. It hasn't even arrived. It's not going to arrive. It's dead in the water. It's shot in the paddock. It's game over. Let's see what he's going to say.
Howdy, real quick. This is a no bells or whistles version of my experience with the Amico review from the Boston event. I wanted to provide...
No bells or whistles. Well, you've got plenty of bells and whistles from the few seconds I've seen so far.
That to those who are just interested in the solid review, no comedy bits, elements, things like that, this is for you. If you're interested in seeing more of the characters of my show and stuff like that, I'm working on a Howdy Amico episode 2 version of this exact same review.
Why? Why put the same review out twice? What is the point? Once is enough.
Which has story elements in the beginning and in a few more little surprises for the review. So if you're interested in that, when it's done, it'll appear here and or link in the description.
Where? What?
So if you're interested in that, when it's done, it'll appear here and or link in.
Is he pointing at something else in his room? Because I can't see anything on the screen. Just if you've got to link something, I mean, no one's going to come back to the video anyway. They watch the video, they don't come back to your old video. They just look at your latest video a lot of the time. So Gordon Bennett.
The description. Until then, please enjoy the review. Thanks so much. At long last, I finally got to play the.
Oh man alive! Of course, as I pause it, bloody thing covers up the screen. Special thanks to Saggy Melons and the Atari Creep for some of their footage. Well, you can just credit them for fair use in the description. You don't need to make a big song and dance out of it. But so anyway, so yeah, he puts. Well, you'll see when he sort of shows. If you didn't see what I've shown before, you've not seen any of his other videos. He just has this ridiculously huge fake set. See this CGI set, as if he's sat inside an Amico console. I mean, my God, the amount of man love he is showing Tommy Tallarico is insane. It's absolute madness. Just I don't know anyone else. I've never seen anyone else make a video that so has them sort of so sucking up to the people who've made a console. I've never seen anyone put themselves inside a console before, even whether it's going to come out or not. This is just crazy. I mean, this man really needs a girlfriend. It's just really bizarre. This man, or at least needs a hobby to take him away from the Amico to something real. Someone give him a hobby that's going to take him into something real, please.
The Intellivision Amico. I spent around 10 to 12 hours with the console as both a player and as an observer.
10 to 12 hours with the Amico. My God. How many times did the controllers need charging? 10 to 12 hours. They normally only turn up to these events for about a 3-hour window, and then they bugger off. What the hell are they there for 10 to 12 hours? Who's going to care for 10 to 12 hours? You go to the average retro event, and it's open. Like I've been to Play Expo Manchester, but it's open for like 8 hours. It's not open for 10 hours. And even if it was, people queue up at the start of it. By lunchtime, it's the crowds have rather thinned out a bit because everyone sort of had their initial bit of fun and then they've all gone home. I think that's why they put the cosplay masquerade on late in the day, because they want people to sort of still stick around for that. Otherwise, it'd be kind of empty in the afternoon. But me personally, I spend the entire day there. And last one I was there was the 2019 one. Obviously, 2020 was cancelled. 2021 was cancelled because it was way too early in the year for that. I know they have had another one in 2021 in Blackpool. Anyway, so I'm hoping for 2022 to be normal again, and there'll be another one in Manchester. But 10 to 12 hours on one console. I mean, even when I go to the retro event, there's arcade machines. There's even the latest consoles. There's everything there. And there's the cosplay masquerade. There's loads of stuff going, lots of different things to check out. And he spent 10 to 12 hours with this mobile phone in a box playing the same handful of games. How the fuck do you not get bored shitless? How the fuck? Oh God.
This video will go into great detail about my first impressions.
You don't really need to.
With the system and its controller. I'll also be discussing whether or not its casual market promises were fulfilled. But
well, you can never assess that because the thing hasn't come out yet. I mean, it never will, but you can't assess whether what's been fulfilled or not by the fact it hasn't even come out. The fact the UI isn't finished, the back end isn't finished, nothing's finished.
But before we begin, can you trust?
Oh, the games aren't finished.
Not its casual market promises were fulfilled. But before we begin, can you trust my opinion?
Probably not.
Well, at the time of this recording, I have no financial investment in the product or its company. I don't have a pre-order. I don't own any of its limited edition games.
Why? You got so much love for this thing, but you don't even have a pre-order. I mean, shit, I had a pre-order for a good while until like the the third time they cancelled it, and then I just thought, fuck this, I'm getting my money back. Why do you make so many videos? Well, not so many videos. He hasn't made many videos because he spends so long making all these funny edits to it. But you've designed this CGI massive set, yet you don't have any kind of, not even a pre-order in, and you've definitely not put 10k in investment money into it. God.
I am presently not paid by the company, nor am I currently an employee. I was not gifted any hats or t-shirts. I found out the store locations and times of the Amico event at the same time everyone else did. No travel expenses were paid for. I was a guest just like everyone.
So he just spends so much. He obviously has got sort of like a license with companies that just provide endless, bit of windy pops, endless stock footage of like things like planes taking off. That's completely irrelevant. I could put stock footage here of, spacemen running across the screen. Imagine it now, and aliens flying after them, and Martians blowing up New York and Boston and all the other places. Well, not Boston, well, the Amico's there, shit. But you know what I mean. I can put all kinds of shit on the screen, and for a simple video, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The views would not change whatever I do with it. But I just don't get why he's got so much time. Has he not? Is he not got a job to go to? Has he not got any better things to do? Good God.
Everyone else. As a matter of fact, I didn't have any long, meaningful communication between myself and the console's CEO, Tommy Tallarico, at the event. This way, I could ensure it was the console itself that did all the talking. Now, does this mean I'm completely unbiased? No. There's no question I have interest in the system and therefore went into the experience hoping it would be good as opposed to remaining professionally neutral. But that's how I like to treat any first introduction, be it product or person. I assume positivity until it tells me otherwise.
Oh, he assumes positivity until it tells him otherwise. Well, the fact they've cancelled the console 3 times I can't get my words out. It's late in the day. Does that not tell you otherwise? Fucking hell.
Like any review, I suggest you listen to as many opinions as you possibly can before making a purchase. So if, let's say, I'm on one scale of the Amico, let's say it's a positive review, you should also listen to people who have some criticisms about it.
Some criticisms.
Either split the difference or find the personality that works for you, but in either event, I don't know how to be any more truthful and honest than that. So let's talk
truthful?
Console and controller. The first thing you'll notice when picking up the Amico is that it's very light.
Yeah, because there's fuck all in there. It's a mobile phone in a box. A 2016 mobile phone. Of course there's nothing in there. It's just an empty shell. It's just the, what's it, the Jaguar... Oh, sorry, I'm hearing some sort of American voices in my head. We just call it the Jaguar. And then in America they call it a Jaguar. The fuck is a Jaguar? A Jaguar. The word is Jaguar, like the panther-like creature. Because of course there's fucking nothing in there. It's just it looks like I know it obviously looks like the footbath from it just looks like a footbath. But the Jaguar box ended up being a dental device. But it's just there's no weight to it. You'd think they'd at least put a bit of I don't know, what can you put in it? Just some weights in it, basically, just so the thing doesn't fly away the minute you open the back door. It's just try picking up a heavy 2600 from back in the day. They were fucking heavy. This just looks like a pile of absolute shit that it's probably a Raspberry Pi on a board. And that's why it weighs fuck all. It's just a fancy looking box. But it's strange. And if he's obviously paid a license for all that the B-roll footage, why has he got this? Just play that back a sec.
Console and controller. The first thing you'll notice when picking up the...
Why has he got KineMaster on there? It's like he's using a KineMaster product. I don't know what KineMaster... I've not used one. It's like he's using a KineMaster product, like that, the Bandicam things. When it says edited with Bandicam, but they've not actually, they've not paid for the license. That's why it still says edited on Bandicam throughout the whole fucking thing. Why do you not just? Do you not pay the license for that? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, let's continue.
Amico is that it's very light, hollow almost. If you've ever picked up a Model 1 Sega Genesis, you'll know exactly how it feels. This is not to be confused with being cheap. The build quality overall feels solid.
So it weighs fuck all. He says, but don't confuse it with being cheap. Well, yeah, because it's not cheap. So it's cheap to make. It won't be cheap to fucking buy because it's $300 for something that's worth, I don't know, how much is a 2016 mobile phone worth now? 10 quid? Worth fuck all in a fancy box. Add 10 quid maybe for all the fancy lights. But you're buying something that's worth 20 quid. If it ever does come out, like the Ouya, wait till it's 20 quid in game when they're just sort of getting rid of them. And that's the one I bought and I made a video about it. There's just nothing to this whatsoever.
Exactly how it feels. This is not to be confused with being cheap. The build quality overall feels solid and sturdy.
How can it feel solid and sturdy when it's got, excuse me, when it's got no weight to it at all? Ridiculous.
LED light strip blends seamlessly into the design, and its brightness is powerful but never intrusive.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for things with lots of lights on them. That's the aspect I like about it. But I'm not paying $300, 300 quid, whatever it is, for something that is just a glorified light show. I'm sure I can do much better elsewhere.
Intrusive or distracting. As for the controllers, they too were lighter than I expected. My first impression was that they felt slightly loose and fragile.
Yeah, because there's fuck all in them. Because the stuff they wanted to put in them, like the proper motion controls, doesn't work, and so they just don't bother. It's just empty.
Something that would quickly disappear the longer I held it in my hands. Once you get used to it, you realize just how much thought actually went into its design. Its lightweight began to feel purposeful, especially when kids were playing.
What the fuck is he talking about? The controller feels purposeful. Just talk English, man.
They were waving and tilting the controller around for hours with little to no effort.
Well, excuse me. Let's see that again.
They were waving and tilting the...
Right. Watch this. She tilts the controller. Watch the bike on the screen.
The controller around for hours with little to no effort.
Well, little to no effort resulted in little to no chance of that thing getting around the loop. I'm sorry, if this is supposed to be a simple game, and yet a kid can't even... And they're supposed to have made the game super easy. Why can't the kid get a fucking bike around the loop? Of course, Tommy's there just creaming his pants, because Tommy creams his pants at anything. And it's supposed to be easy, but they can't manage it. In fact, in the multiplayer one on that Amico Friday lunchtime video, the staff couldn't get it to work properly either. Easy, they said.
As a matter of fact, after 20 minutes, I forgot I was even holding a controller at all.
Where do you think your hands were?
Something that many smartphones and controllers haven't achieved in my personal experience.
What the fuck is he talking about? For a man who says he's not, not shilling in any way whatsoever, he just really sucking up to Tommy Tallywacker, isn't he? He suddenly felt like he was not holding a controller. Maybe he was holding something of Tommy's in his right hand, going back and forth. Who knows?
As for its fragility, that was dispelled when Tommy Tallarico repeatedly threw the controller against the hardwood
Yeah, I think that was to try and get the battery to work.
Floor. He was smiling while we were all bracing for impact of shattered pieces. As for its fragility, that was dispelled when Tommy Tallarico repeatedly threw the controller against the hardwood. As for its fragility, that was
that doesn't look like Tommy Tallarico suddenly has massive breasts. Well, he makes a massive tit out of himself sometimes. I'm guessing that's Saggy Melons, just with more tattoos than bloody Robert De Niro and Cape Fear. Just maybe that's why he's filming her, because he just wants to get big breasts on his video. But who would pick up a controller and purposely drop it on the ground?
Dispelled when Tommy Tallarico.
I wouldn't do that. These things cost, if they ever come out, they cost £60 to buy. So that's about $80 American and $100 Canadian. Why the fuck would you pick something up and purposely drop it on the floor? Morons.
Repeatedly threw the controller against the hardwood floor. He was smiling while we were all bracing for impact of shattered pieces, but it never happened. He was so confident in its build quality that he never shied away from it being filmed. The demonstration proved just how...
Never shies away from anything being filmed. What about when he just puts out NDAs and just basically stops people filming anything he doesn't think will... He doesn't want people filming stuff that he thinks will put him in a bad light. So he just stops people, won't let them film. And yet you're making it sound like he'll let them film anything. You're talking absolute bullshit, man.
How durable and tough these controllers were. More impressive was its comfort. A rectangle-like device shouldn't melt in your hands, and yet it somehow managed to do so. No matter how big or small the player was, the Amico controller found a way to seamlessly blend into their hands, almost as if it was custom designed. All of the buttons had just a...
He just sounds like he's sucking up and just... he doesn't explain how it sort of melts into your hand. He just says, oh, it just melts into your hand. How? Why? I have a feeling we're not going to get answers.
The right amount of click to them. They never felt mushy or flimsy designed. All of the buttons had just the right amount of click to them. They never felt mushy or flimsy.
But we don't hear the clicking on the video. Why didn't you film that? Answer came there none.
Whether I was tapping them frantically in a shooter or occasionally tapping them in a more casual offering, the buttons felt solid and responsive.
I doubt all this very much. I can't see that controller being great. And if it was great, why haven't they put it in the hands of every single reviewer? Why haven't they put and invite proper reviewers, not paid shills, to check out the console? But he won't do that. He won't do that whatsoever. I'm open to reviewing it if you want to send me one. But he won't because he knows it's bullshit.
I was very impressed with the touchscreen. I wasn't expecting it to feel as good as it did. You don't have to press hard for it to register. You tap and glide your finger across it the way you would any smartphone.
Right, but when we had the battle tank battle video, it was shown that as was it Tommy playing it or John? One of the two playing it. As they span the tank's turret round, it just fired off at random. And there were other times when Tommy was pressing the screen to fire, and the thing just didn't fire at all. So it doesn't fire when you want to, and it does, and then it does fire when you don't want it to. It's shite.
Device. I was expecting its texture to feel more akin to the Wii U gamepad, but it felt closer to a piece of slick glass than a more frictional piece of plastic. And because the controller isn't dense, tapping the screen as a button didn't hurt my finger over time. It has a subtle amount of perceived give.
Great, that's really what we want to see, isn't it? Someone's grotty...
Tapping the screen as a button didn't hurt my finger over time.
Someone's grotty fingernails, thank you very much.
It has a subtle amount of perceived...
What do you get with that? You get these licenses to B-roll footage that's been shot. It's got millions of items of B-roll footage, and what do? Do you look up grotty fingernails? Ugh.
Perceived give as opposed to a sturdy wall that your finger hits against. The directional disc is what separates the Amico from the vast majority of controllers on the market. Now, visually it shouldn't...
Let's just say that again.
Is what separates the Amico opposed to a sturdy wall that your finger hits against. The directional disc is what separates the Amico from the vast majority of controllers on the market.
Yeah, because they know it's bullshit. They know that people just want... I've got a PS5 controller. The only thing that's my beef against the PS5 controller and the PS5 console is the fact they're white. I just wanted black like they're all the rest of them, apart from the original PlayStation. But, you go with black for the number 2, 3, and 4, and then, let's have white now. What? Why? Stupid decision. But the controller is perfectly fine. I mean, it is stupid that it... for some reason, there doesn't seem to be a way to actually turn it off. When leave the console on, but I want to turn off the controller, for just like go and get a drink or something, because I don't want it sort of sucking up. There's no sort of auto turn off for the controller, and I don't want it sucking up battery life, and then having to what's the word? Sort of charge it up again. And it's just the battery life in those things is an absolute pain. But there's also a speaker on it, so that I was playing WRC10, and I'm going along the tracks, and if I hit a bit of gravel, the sound of the gravel comes out of the controller rather than out of the sort of amplifier. What's the point of that? I don't get it. But the fact of the matter is, those the controllers have evolved to the point like the Xbox ones, where you've got you got two thumbsticks, you got all the usual sort of buttons, you got a D-pad, and what does Intellivision think you need? A fucking disc, which you have to press down on to use as a spinner. It's horseshit, absolute horseshit. And yet you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. There's something very wrong going on here.
Now, visually it shouldn't work. Any gamer would look at it and instantly know that it won't be able to do platformers justice. The fact that you have to press it down in order to spin it should instantly sound the alarms of any player who's ever gamed for long sessions, because they would know just how tiring and thumb cramping that experience would be. But here's the thing. Once you put the controller in your hand and play a game for a few minutes, you instantly wonder why controllers weren't doing this from day one.
Well, the old Intellivision had that. And why do you think game systems haven't done that since? Because it doesn't work. It's stupid. It's like it's about as much use as a non-self-centering joystick. They're just horrible.
I am aware of how dramatic a statement that is, but I stand by it. In my play experience, it had all the accuracy of a directional cross, but with the added luxury and benefit of rolling my finger into the subtle confines of all the angles in between.
Well, they're crap.
Games like Earthworm Jim were almost tailor-made for the controller because shooting at angles feels effortless, and because it...
So has he played Earthworm Jim? Has he played Earthworm Jim? Well, I mean, I know that's like an old Earthworm Jim.
Into the subtle confines of all the angles in between. Games like...
I know that's an old Earthworm Jim game, but I mean, just look here. Earthworm Jim only fires in about sort of two separate directions. Let's have a look.
Like Earthworm Jim were almost tailor-made for the controller because shooting at...
Well, I mean, he's firing off in, the 8 directions. So north, south, east, west, northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. That's all he's shooting in. Just up, down, left, right, and the compass points in between. Nothing else. So you don't need 64 points on directional to fire for Earthworm Jim, and he's only going to fire in the normal 8 that a normal joypad works with perfectly fine. A normal D-pad works perfectly fine. This guy's talking bullshit.
Angles feels effortless, and because it's not a stick where you have to push and pull, there's no hesitation from thumb movement to...
I've never had to push and pull sticks. The thumbsticks on my PS5 controller, my Xbox One controller, I just sort of push them. That is effortless, completely effortless. Has this guy ever played a controller before that's not the Amico? Somehow I don't think so.
Character movement. It's a seamless glide and roll of the finger that produces instantaneous reaction.
So just go back a sec, because this is a bit I saw earlier as well.
It's not a stick where you have to push and pull. There's no hesitation from thumb movement to character movement. It's a seamless glide and...
Looks like a Finding Nemo graphic. Have they stolen that from Disney? But you spin you sort of turn the spinner thing round, and your character will go a certain way. But if you start doing that, then when you use as you go anti-clockwise with that, there comes a point where you're spinning it so far around one way that it doesn't feel natural anymore, and there's no point in just having it going round and round and round anyway. This does not make any sense whatsoever. It's like trying to think of the exact sort of thing that goes with this, but it's the best explanation. But say for, I don't know, in the game Thief, where you're trying to unlock, or you're trying to sort of pick a lock, you've got to do certain. Was it the old Hitman games? No, I think it was the Thief games. Oh god, I'm losing track now. I'm trying to think whether Hitman 1 and 2 of the recent games actually had you doing something proper with the picking the lock, other than just giving you a lockpick. I think I'm probably thinking of Thief, because I love the Thief games. But you actually have to sort of intricately work out how to pick the lock, and you have to spin. Maybe it was Hitman. I don't know. Someone let me know in the comments. I'm having a brain fart. You can spin your joypad joystick around so far, just to sort of tease it until it sort of feel a vibration, and then you've taken it as far as you can. Then you spin it back the other way, and then you do the same again with that until you feel the vibration, and then usually you've unlocked the lock. But you don't keep spinning it round and round and round and round, because it's just not going to feel natural at all. Yet to Panda, this seems absolutely the most natural thing in the world.
Roll of the finger that produces instantaneous reaction, as opposed to a hard press of the thumb on a D-pad.
I've never had a hard press on the thumb. It's perfectly natural. This guy has obviously never played any controller that's not the Amico controller. God.
Used to directional pads that I was actually getting a cramp in my thumb on a D-pad. I was so used to directional pads that I was actually getting a cramp in my thumb when using the Amico controller.
It doesn't sound like he's used to directional D-pads at all.
Turns out I was pushing too hard. Once I realized that its pressure sensitivity was far more accurate than I was giving it credit for, I began to ease up, and the experience of using it changed immediately.
God, this... if he is paying for this B-roll footage, I mean, he's fucking been ripped off, hasn't he? Jesus Christ.
Shooters where reflex is key, handled beautifully. I was able to roll my thumb in and out of fire with more ease than an arcade stick or D-pad.
Crap. Has he just got his tongue so far up Tommy Tallywhacker's bumhole? I think that's the only thing I can think of. Unless he's getting, Tommy's giving him a reach around, I don't know. Just none of this is making any sense. He's talking absolute crap, and his credibility is going, whatever credibility he's got, is just going completely down the pan. Shilling for a console that is dead in the water.
Platformers where accuracy and timing are crucial equally felt effortless and responsive. Games that utilize...
Well, sounds like Finnegan Fox's easiest game in the world, because they've taken an old game and made it easier than it should be. And he's trying to make it sound like this is just the best thing since sliced bread. I don't buy it at all.
The unique controller's features felt even more comfortable. As for the motion controls, well, they worked as they should. They didn't feel as one-to-one.
Even though that girl couldn't manage it before.
One as, let's say, a Wii Remote Plus, but for the games I played, they got the job done. This also goes the same for its rumble capabilities. It wasn't as nuanced as a Joy-Con, but it was effective enough to keep you locked into the experience. And finally, the touchscreen, surprisingly, was about as responsive as a smartphone. The controller, for me, proved to be anything.
Even though they only allow 1 megabyte of storage for whatever they put in the screen, whatever they put on the screen, so that basically limits it to pressing it as an extra button. It doesn't allow for actually moving things about on the screen. There's just not the capacity for it. Yeah, again, he thinks it's the most amazing thing ever. Bullshit.
But a gimmick. The disc in particular was a literal game changer. Get it in your
fuck off
hands, play a game for 10 minutes, and tell me if you have any desire to go back to a traditional pad.
This guy is talking out his fucking ass. Quite frankly, if this thing is as amazing as he says it is, then shit, Tommy would even have no problem with sending a unit to pat the Northeast Spunk, as I like to call him. Okay, NES Punk, NES Pratt, but it just sounds like, it's like Northeast Spunk. He would have no hesitation in just sending a console to him straight away if he thought that he was only ever going to get positive reaction out of it. But that's never going to happen. So Tommy won't do it. So this guy could be saying anything. I just... It's like the equivalent of if you asked him what his opinion on Ghislaine Maxwell is, and he just, and he would be saying, oh, she's a wonderful lady, and she had no part in what Jeffrey Epstein was up to, none whatsoever. It's just, that's the kind of bullshit he's coming out of. It's kind of that level bullshit. No one sensible, no one sane believes that the Amico has any value in it whatsoever. Yeah, he seems to think it's the fucking best thing ever. Crazy.
Ever again. I'd be surprised if you wound up disagreeing.
In fact, he's barely talking about the Boston event, but just about the Amico itself. Not about what else is happening at the Boston event, which, okay, it's just sort of, it's not really the Boston event, it's like a review of the Amico without the Amico ever coming out.
That's how good it is. Let's talk lags, frame rate, and connectivity.
Oh, is he going to say there's no lag even though we've seen it?
I experienced no perceivable lag between the
Oh, fuck off.
actions of my fingers and the playable objects on screen. Whether the controller
Is that why he's got glasses?
was plugged in or not had little to no performance difference, at least that I could see. Most of the games I played appeared to run at a solid and fluid frame rate. Rarely
Yeah, a solid and fluid frame rate, like a solid 5 frames a second.
did I notice a slowdown or hiccup, even when the screen was filled with enormous amounts of activity. In the few very rare occasions where I noticed a minor performance dip, I'd argue that had more to do with optimization than the console's capability.
So he just, oh, I did notice some problems, but they don't matter really. I'm sure they're working on it.
Some have claimed that the controllers lose connectivity and that they need to be reset often. Now, that wasn't my personal experience at all. Aside
Because, yeah, Tommy's using his tongue.
from a single Wi-Fi connection issue, which appeared to be more about the location's internet than the system itself, everything ran flawlessly. That problem was solved in a few minutes and never appeared again. As far as range, I played games anywhere between 2 feet from the console and roughly 10 feet. In my experience, changed zero. Now I want to briefly talk about this CEO, Tommy Tallarico himself, because love him or hate him, he was very much a part of the event's experience.
Well, he always has to be, because he always wants to be. He thinks he's P.T. fucking Barnum. He has to be the centre of attention, even though there's one born every minute. Even though P.T. Barnum may not have said that, but it really does apply. Tommy he'll just have you believing anything. You know, you ask him, "Oh, Tommy, how about are you gonna have a game like Halo Infinite on your console?" You're gonna get, we don't say we haven't been talking to Xbox. Yeah, they're gonna take Halo Infinite away from their Xbox Series X and they're gonna put it on the Amico. Yep.
During my observations, he was a very gracious host, but never went into any sales pitches.
Oh God, sucking up to Tommy Tallarico, fucking hell. Be like Poland sucking up to Hitler.
He'd set you up on a game and watch from afar, stepping in only if there was a...
It can only ever end in bad things. It's never going to end up with a good outcome. And they would really be backing the wrong horse. And that's what's happening here. He's backing the wrong fucking horse. What a weirdo.
Into any sales pitches. He'd set you up on a game and watch from afar, stepping in only if there was a question or
if the controller battery ran out every 2 seconds.
Constructive concern. If you felt so inclined to have a conversation, he was approachable. Several large content creators were there, and at no time did he pay more attention to them than any random family off the street.
Yeah, you really have random families off the street coming to these events, don't you? That's absolute bullshit. You just have paid shills who just give them the he just gives them like a T-shirt and a free hat and stuff, and then they just Tommy, we'll say that, and we'll go Amico on your video. There's no random families off the street coming into these fucking places because he announces the events about 2 seconds before they actually take place. There are no random people coming to these events. I mean, we've established that previously.
To be honest, what I witnessed...
In fact, and the fact that he just makes it sound like it's all off the cuff and they are random families coming in, just makes him an absolute fucking laughingstock. I mean, Jesus, you're backing the wrong horse with this thing, and now you're just trashing whatever reputation you've got, just throwing it completely down the pan. I advise you just to get out of this and channel your energy into talking about something that has a future and just doesn't make you look so much of an ass.
More attention to them than any random family off the street. To be honest, what I witnessed appeared to be genuine...
Look at that game, Space Strikers.
Any random family off the street.
Just what gibberish is going on this fucking screen? Just you got all these things just going around, bouncing around. What the fuck is... Someone explain to me in the comments, what the fuck is the goal of this fucking game?
To be honest, what I witnessed appeared to be
It's just gibberish. It's like drunks walking around the street after the pub shut at midnight. It's just chucking out time, and the drunks are all walking around and about to walk into the traffic, and it's just that's what it looks like. It's like a CCTV heat map as the drunks are chucking out time. It's just what is the point of that game? Someone explain that to me.
Genuine enthusiasm. On several occasions, we would find Tommy playing a game all by himself, thoroughly enjoying.
Yeah, because everyone else has fucked off. There's probably about 3 people turned up. Probably 3 paid chills have turned up apart from you, DJC, and Saggy Melons. And so that's why Tommy's on his own, and all Tommy's doing is just playing.
On several occasions,
as we see here,
we would find
Tommy's just playing the same opening level of Moon Patrol over and over again, because that's the only one he's made.
Playing a game all by himself, thoroughly enjoying the creations he and his team had produced. And when you challenge...
He and his team have produced absolutely fuck all. They've produced like a handful of demos and no finished games. What are they doing in this office? What are they doing? Apart from, they were spending over 3 years making a console, and the only deep dive they've had is that Astro Smash thing, which is just the same level over and over and over again, with a different background, or the Tanks thing with stolen artwork. They've taken 3 years to make a game full of stolen artwork. It's just beyond stupidity. This is why the thing's not coming out, because they've got no intention of being serious about it. No intention. They're only serious about taking your money.
Challenge him to a game, he'd usually beat you. This went for the Amico or original Intellivision systems. So my point out of all this is that it was actually really refreshing to see the CEO of a product actually be the target audience and fan of the product and brand itself. To get good at games...
This guy is such a suck-up.
...takes time and skill. You can't fake that. And there he was, playing some games, even with his back towards the screen.
No, he's just showing off. Can you not tell when someone's showing off? Someone's trying to suck up to you. He's trying to... If you haven't, put any money into this, then exactly what he's trying to do, and if you haven't, why would you fly across the fucking States to go to this event? If you haven't put money into this, that's what he's doing. He's trying to groom you. He's trying to groom you into giving him $10,000, to put money into this piece of shit. The fact you can't see that, or refuse to see that, is astounding. Is he going to take a ride in his Ferrari?
My time observing him only gave me greater confidence in the product.
Jesus Christ, you've got confidence in Tommy Tallywacker. Are you fucking for real?
Had I seen someone giving forced smiles and PR bullet point responses with a lazy shovelware product behind him, I'd...
Yeah, because there's no shovelware in the Amico, is there? Fucking hell, this guy's thick as fuck. He's either taking the piss, or he's just thick as fuck. You decide.
I'd be the first to tell you. So let's start winding down into some final thoughts.
Oh, is it coming to an end already? I was just getting started.
Now, I've been on record saying that the $250 plus price tag could be a misstep. After playing it, I can tell you that my needle has moved.
Fuck off. You think $250 is a perfect price point for a 2016 mobile phone unit in a console with no weight to it, because that's all, it's just probably a Raspberry Pi in a box? You are one deluded motherfucker.
While I still hold firm that $199 is the sweet spot, I now...
$120 maybe would have been okay. It was originally announced around $150, and then it's just doubled since, which is just bullshit. This $199 is a sweet spot. What?
Now see the extra $50.
I think the only sweet spot is what Tommy's licking to make you make this video, quite frankly.
While I still hold firm that $199 is the sweet spot, I now see the extra $50 as a mild inconvenience.
Oh, fuck. A mild inconvenience. Jesus Christ. And you've not put any money into this. Somehow I don't believe you. It's just... I just don't... This is sad. This is the fact that someone's making a video, making all this suck up behaviour. If he can't see the lies and the bullshit from Tommy, then he's just thick. he's got issues, and he's going to get taken to the cleaners by somebody, even if it's not Tommy Tallarico. If he's taking the piss, then hurrah, you pranked us all. But God, you actually do sound fucking real. And if you're real, then whatever you know credibility you had, it's gone down the pan.
As opposed to a deal breaker. As far as having any criticism, I do. In my Amico vs. Switch video, I theorized that the console's appeal was its pick-up-and-play simplicity.
Yeah, he's completely oblivious. Let's just get that picture.
Switch video, I theorized that the console's appeal was its pickup.
He's completely oblivious, because I bet he doesn't mention it. He's completely oblivious to the fact that that family were not holding Amico controllers. It's one of those photoshopped images. You know, they just sort of put the foot bath in there, and they put the controls in their hands, and he just thinks that's perfectly fine. Either he's trolling us rotten and he's pranking us all the way to Yaya, or he really is thick as fuck. You decide.
And play simplicity. However, I found that a select few of the games did require more explanation than I had hoped. Titles like these could potentially.
Look at that pool game. Let me try and not back up to 5 seconds. A little bit more. That pool game. That is the most generic kind of pool game I've ever seen in my life. I don't know whether we'll get any more footage in this particular video, but there was a video of DJC's. Maybe I'll show it next time. A video of DJC's showing a few shots in pool, and my God, it's just the most basic thing I've seen. You know, something I played years and years ago, and now Tommy's Tommy's made a game. You know, for all of his bluff and bluster about we're going to have unique games, you know, exclusive games on our console. What the fuck is exclusive about that pool game? Nothing. What has he got? He's got 15 balls on the table there. Is he suddenly going to have another 16th ball? Is he going to have like multiplayer version, 4-player multiplayer to take one shot? It just baffles the mind. You can look at a game like this and think, my God, it's nothing like we've ever seen before. This is completely new and unique. You'd have to actually be thick as a brick to take any of Tommy's nonsense seriously. I'm just staggered. Hey, can Panda really be this thick? Oh, good God.
Hoped. Titles like these could potentially confuse or intimidate a non-gamer at the start. But, to be fair, every game did require more explanation than I had hoped.
So a game like this requires explanation. I can't see that at all. But he says it might put off a non-gamer. The reason, what puts off a non-gamer about video games is the fact that they're video games. Yeah? I've no interest in cross-stitching. So it doesn't matter what you did to knitting and cross-stitching. It doesn't matter what you try and do to it. I will never be interested in it. So Tommy is trying to target non-gamers by making a gaming device and charging them $300 for the product. What? Did IQs drop sharply while I'm away? You know, how thick does he think people are? Is he as thick? Yeah, and then the fact that Tommy thinks people will spend $300 on something they're not interested in, and the fact Panda is also believing that's a thing as well. It's the blind leading the blind. He's just deluded in the head. Both him and Tommy.
Titles like these could potentially confuse or intimidate a non-gamer at the start. But, to be fair, every game he handed me, he did so realizing I was already a gamer. So there may have been tutorials or instructions that I got to bypass. So this could be just something I didn't witness firsthand, as I saw people of all ages playing the games without any problems.
Yeah, well, if you show a kid a controller, kids automatically pick up on video games. You know, they'll play any game for a second. And I expect they played these games for all of about 30 seconds before they moved on and just went back to their Switch. God.
There was also a ton of games that featured co-op play where it had non-gamers in mind, but I'll get into all that in my next.
Games with non-gamers in mind. Exactly. It's like if you gave me a knitting pattern and said, "Dom, it's got cross stitching in. Look at it. Isn't it amazing?" And I'll be saying, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm not into knitting or cross stitching. Why would I care?" Yeah, but it's a knitting pattern for non-knitters. Yep. Did you not fucking hear me the first fucking time? I said I'm not into knitting. Yeah. But well, just have a go with it. Have a go. It's great. What do you think? I said I'm not into fucking knitting. And how much do you want to charge me for the pair of fucking knitting needles? Well, we're only charging you $300 for the knitting needles. Are you having a laugh? $300 for knitting needles to use for needles for something that I don't care about, and you're trying to charge me $300 fucking dollars? Are you off the chart mad? You're a mental chicken oriental. That's exactly how the conversation would go. Yeah, never mind. PandaSub will get into it in his next review. Actually, it might be quite might be worth a watch. Fuck me.
Video, one where I talk in great detail about all the games I experienced and how the controller worked with each title.
Yeah, by the time he actually gets around to editing that video, because he's taken weeks to put this one out, by the time he gets around to editing and releasing the next video, this whole thing could be wrapped and put in the bin anyway. Get to January, February, and Tommy will have absconded into a Swiss bank account with all the investors' cash, and there's nothing left. And sometime after that, PandaSub will put out his next video. Amazing.
In conclusion, I was genuinely impressed with the Intellivision Amico.
You liar.
I brought 2 cameras to film the event, and all I got was about 15 minutes of footage.
You brought 2 cameras? Fuck me. Why? You can only operate one at a time. And that's depending on what Tommy will actually allow you to show.
Speaks to how immersed I was in the gameplay and the great time I was having amongst friends. It felt like the old days of GoldenEye and Mario Kart on the couch. Now, is this console for everyone? No. But it was for me. If you're a hardcore gamer that believes the Switch does everything you need, then stay on the Switch. I'd argue you're missing out on a great controller and some really fun games, but...
Well, what a shame. We'll miss out on that. Oh dear, what a shame.
Again, that's for you to decide. And I will say that a lot of the games may appear to look like Flash games or shovelware on the surface.
That's because they are.
But they had too much love and polish in the design and controls for me to get distracted by the lighter visual.
Fucking hell, he really is reaming Tommy, isn't he?
As a matter of fact, nothing about the games felt cheap or neglected. You just...
Jesus Christ, this man's... Is he religious or something? Religious people talk an awful lot of shit. So is he religious? He sees Tommy as some sort of god. So he could well be.
You just have to play it instead of watching it to get it. Now, whatever your opinion of the system is, I do sincerely appreciate your time and giving my review a shot, especially if you're not a fan to begin with. If you're willing to let go of everything non-gaming related that surrounds this console, like the drama or maybe your attitude towards business
God, attitude towards business decisions. Oh, I mean, I've covered so much of what Tommy's been up to all this time. Just the amount of bullshit Tommy comes out with, and Panda just ignores all of that, and obviously ignores that. Is it COO, CFO, whatever it is, Nick, whatever his name is, the one who shoots prairie dogs. So he's quite happy to shill for a console where they have a man in charge after Tommy who just shoots prairie dogs. That's perfectly alright in his little world.
Gaming related that surrounds this console, like the drama or maybe your attitude towards business decisions, and just let the console speak for itself, I think you'll find a surprisingly good time. But ultimately, that choice is up to you, and I can respect your decision either way. So, thanks again.
I'll pause it there because I don't want to start getting, if there's music in there, I don't want to start getting copyright claims. That's, he's only just check out my other shows. We're just going to show a few other bits anyway. Just this guy is deluded. He's either pranking us or he's absolutely fucking deluded. You decide which he's doing. I I'm going to go on the side of deluded. It's just mad. Nothing he says makes any sense whatsoever. He needs a good lie down. I don't know. I just don't. Maybe he was promised an hour with Jennifer Aniston in the nude if he made an 11-minute video about the Amico. Who knows? But if I was offered that, I'd make an 11-minute video about the Amico. But anyway, this guy, he's got serious issues, and I've talked about this for longer than I thought I would do. So anyway, please let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. God, brain's gone. It's late in the day. Let me know all your thoughts. Please share the video, like it, subscribe, all that. I'm done. Cue Genesis.